Welcome to Juki Junkie's home of Gigi's Fabric Shop. Today I am going to show you how to thread and wind a bobbin on the Juki 350 Miyabi. So let's get started. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we've already placed our spool on our stand. We want to make sure that our tension rod here is extended all the way to the top. And you're going to be passing through, you're going to pick two colors. I chose the red one here. I brought my thread in from the back to the front and back to the front. And now she's coming down over here all the way to this pin. When you come to this pin, since I'm using Glide 40 weight, I'm going to go through it through both holes. So I'm going to go right to left or back to front. And I'm going to repeat that by grabbing that tip and going right to left or back to front. I'm going to come to this first tension guide. This is the one that's going to control your cutter. So you want to make sure that this is flush right here. You don't want to tighten it or loosen it. I'm going to go through the first thread guide, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to go across the top, holding it nice and tug as I go in between both discs. As I go through the disc, I'm going to let go of my right hand. I'm going to bring the tip here and go through this hole here. You can also use tweezers if you needed to. I'm going to go now through the next tension disc, and this is the one that actually does control your tension, okay? This is the real tension guide. We're going to come around, catch it. I like to hold it tug. I'm going to catch that spring, so I'm going from left to right and bringing it back. Let me do that one more time. So I'm going to hold it tight here. I'm going to snuggle it between both tension discs, and I could actually feel it when it snaps. I'm going to come towards the right, go under that spring, come back, and now I've caught it. As I come back under this hook, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go to the take-up lever. When I come to the take-up lever, I'm going to be threading from right to left. So let's try that. Right to left. All right. Now, let's go ahead and snap right here. Okay. After I do that, I hold it here, and I'm going to focus towards the right where I was on the tension disc, and I'm going to bring both of these threads in. So I'm going to bring this one, put it right behind that guide right there. And then I'm going to do the same with this one and snap it right there. And there we go. And it should look like a little triangle. And then I'm going to go behind the light bar. And then I have my first hole that I'm going to guide my thread through. So let's lower the camera over here, and we're going to come down from from top to bottom. Okay? And then if you want, you can grab some tweezers, and the tweezers will help you go into that very top hole. And then all you have to do is go to the needle. If your needle is too low, you can grab your hand wheel on the side, and you could lift your needle up and down. So you want to have it nice and high. And then I'm going to thread. I always say to my students, from your tummy to the back of the machine. So let's give it always a nice sharp tip. Wow, on the first try, isn't that awesome? And just bring it back. All right, and that is how you thread the Juki 350 Miyabi. So now let's fill a bobbin. Let's get this going. We want to make sure that we extend our rod all the way up. I've seen people do this. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure it's extended all the way to the top. You're going to choose two colors, whichever colors you want. Here's red. So I'm going to go and pass it through the guide and pass it through the next guide. All right. And our first spot that we need to focus on is this guide right here. All right. You have a disc here, and you have a little hole. So I'm going to come from the back to the front, and then I'm going to go towards the right, and so it's going towards, it comes from the bottom to the right, across the top and then in between the plate and the disc, okay? Nice and tight. And we're gonna make sure that this bobbin is inserted all the way down. All right, and as we approach the bobbin, we're gonna come over here. I like to keep it snugged across the top, and I'm gonna go right to left. That's 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, even 5. And then I'm gonna hold this tight, grab this thread right here, and go from left to right. And then just, sometimes I like to hold this, but you don't have to, and then just go. And that's it. All right, let's talk about needles and the Juki 350, how to change it and what type of needles. You want to use the Grosbecker needles. You want to look at this number right here. It's the 134. I use the R for regular, and I typically use a size 18 for my cotton quilts, regular, quilting cotton fabric. If I am going to be using batik, I will be using a size 16, so a smaller needle, or if I'm going to be doing a t-shirt quilt, I definitely want that smaller needle. On that one, it's going to be right here, it's going to say 134 FFG, size 16. Now let's talk about what a needle's parts look like, okay? Right here, there is a little dip right here. This is called the scarf of the needle. This is going to go towards the back of the machine, and then I'm going to turn this needle around, and when I turn it around, you're going to have over here what's called the groove. The groove is a long channel that grows across the top of the needle, and that's going to go towards your body when placing the needle in the machine. When changing the needle, I always have some tweezers because it just helps in case that needle were to fall. I'm going to use my T-screw, and I'm going to do lefty-loosey. So let me get around here, and I did loosen it up a little bit before we started the video, so that's why it was much easier to loosen up, but you should have it nice and tight. I'm going to remove that screw. I'm going to remove the needle. All right. And I always grab my needle and I puncture something so I don't get it confused. So I place it in some type of fabric so I don't get it confused with the new one, okay? When placing the new needle, remember that you have that long groove, okay, facing you. And you can use your fingers, or also you can remove this foot. So let's go ahead and remove this foot to make it easier. Although I have to say that I don't always do it because sometimes I'm in a hurry, but it's much easier if you remove that, all right? And you're gonna make sure that groove is towards the front. Now, I find it almost impossible to straighten that, to make that hole straight right towards your body. So what I do is I grab a needle and I place it in the hole, and I use this needle to literally drive, I call it driving the needle so that she is nice and straight. And that's all I do. So she's straight on, and push up, make sure she's up, and then I grab that screw and I tighten it. Now let me just get around here a minute. It's kind of hard because I've got a camera on me, so it makes it very hard. Go ahead and pause.
No, I'm gonna keep recording. They need to see this.
Well, it's kind of hard when you have the camera right in front of your face. There you go. Okay, so by now the needle has shifted because there was no way that I could do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that needle in there, and if you notice it's not tight, okay, and I'm going to bring her back straight on, and now I will tighten her all the way. And that's how you change the needle. You want to make sure you come back, you lower your body to see if, hey, is that needle straight on? And it sure is, and you're good to go. And just put your foot back on, and you are ready to
Well,
go.
guys, I hope you liked today's video. If you liked it, do me a favor and like it down below. Leave me some comments with your questions. And if you loved our machine, go ahead and visit on JukiJunkies.com. Stay tuned on Sundays at 4:30. We will always post a video here on YouTube. And that's it.
Click right here if you want to watch a video on the J350 and all the questions we've had on this machine. And don't forget to press right here on this little icon if you want to subscribe. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.